Everybody up on Saturday night? Everybody up on Saturday night? Friday night? Hello. Figured you'd all be sleeping. Huh? Well, I got some updates on this chainsaw. I was having issues with trying to figure out where items were supposed to go at. And so I went to the chainsaw place and found out where they're supposed to be going. So welcome y'all. Hope you're all doing good. So I started off on the chainsaw. I've been in a couple of 2 or 3 videos live on this guy. I know it's not very exciting, but my option is talk to y'all and get something done. You know what I'm saying? So the problem was the kill switch. I had one wire that I didn't know where it went. Thought I was missing a connector, missing something to make it work. Find out I'm not. And the other thing was my fuel lines are said I took this apart over a year ago. I want to say more like 2 years ago, and then I forgot how I took it apart. Now I found out that some of the fuel lines I thought were, you take it, you stretch it out as far as you can, and then you say, hey, it must go from point A to point B, right? Well, let me tell you, that's not the case. It's not the case. So, yeah, so we're back on it again, but at least I got some info from the dealer. So, that's where I went. So unfortunately, I got to pull a couple of these screws loose and then take it up. So what you guys up to on the evening? How's things going out there? And you just clicked on and said, oh, somebody's on YouTube, and oh, it's that guy again. Let's go check him out, see what he's doing tonight. Right? we're removing the handle. I gotta remove the handle because it's kind of in the road of removing this housing, which the fuel lines are underneath there. I think you can see pretty good from where you're at. I usually bring you in so you can see what I'm really up to once I get to the point in question. I think that's how it works for me. These are all 25 Torx. This is a small branch trimmer kind of saw. It's not a really big one. If that makes sense. You can leave that handle there that I'm taking out right now if you like. It's just you just gotta work around it. Just gotta work around it. Alright, so we got that. That one I don't think. Well, I guess I do. Hopefully it doesn't drop on the floor, but it could. Could drop her on the floor. Like the screws. So I wanted to make some sort of a universal holding device for this, but well, that would make too much sense. Alright, so I got the handle out of the way, and the thing that I was going to use to hold it in the vise is now removed. So, alright. So now, which I thought was the point of for the carburetor. Sure, I just lost another screw on the floor, so I'll be looking for one down there. Okay? Yeah. So if I'm missing one, it's down there. I do that because, you know. So you just take the choke lever loose if you want. And sometimes you can just turn the choke on, and that releases this lever that looks like that. Looks like an L with a hook on the top. That goes into the choke mechanism and up to the choke mechanism. Right? That's the only thing holding this carburetor on other than the throttle. And then you can just get up underneath here and pop this guy right up out of there. Like that. That comes out right with the carburetor. In case you wondered, it hooks right back here in the back. Right in there. Right? Like that. Boom. Even me, when I forgot, I still remembered it. Alright, so that whole housing is loose now. This guy could be in the road, but shouldn't be. So now what we got is this kill switch. It's supposed to come over here. I hook on this guy, one of these guys. Slides on one of these. I'm not sure which one yet. That was the one in question. Right? The other one just slides on this little post in the back. Alright, so now this whole guy can come up out of there. The thing in question I had, see how that goes like that? There's 2 holes here, there's 2 holes here. That's set up on purpose for something. And that's what I couldn't come up with when I went in there. So right in here is a rubber. I want to try to zoom you guys in so you can all see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right. So this rubber piece in here, it goes around. There's a hole right there. That's the thing that is supposed to pull a vacuum on the carburetor. And that's the issue we got, is this carburetor goes like that, and that is that in question right there. And I'm saying there's nothing in that hole. That's what I was explaining to him, that there's nothing coming out the back into that. And he's trying to tell me that if something broke off, and I told him, no, there's nothing coming out the back side of it that I can remember. So we're going to look, I'm going to push this all in, because I got to disconnect the fuel line that I got to the wrong place anyways. Alright, so should be able to see in here the tank, the hose right here in question. This hose in question here, I thought went to the vacuum on the crank, and it doesn't. It doesn't at all. So it comes up here and feeds the carburetor. So then I have another hose like that, which are both the same size on both ends. I was explaining to him where that went, and he says that goes up to that back of that carburetor that I was pointing out to you guys. There we go. So it's right here, and it goes on the back side of that boot there. But unfortunately, I don't find anything. No, there's nothing on the back side of that housing there. Oh, there is too. I lied. There is, but it ain't. It doesn't look like what you think it would look. Let me bring you in here so you can see. All right, so you're thinking it comes straight out of that housing and goes into this, but guess what? It doesn't. It goes on an angle right there. See it? See this guy here? I think you're seeing what I'm talking about. Here we go. Right there is where that vacuum hose comes from, that intake. So it goes onto that guy. Which that's going to be a pain in the butt to get on, but it has to be on there. You know what I'm saying? And that fuel line right here goes up to the carburetor. So I got to sneak that on there, pull that boot back through, and hopefully not say too many bad words. But I'd show you. All right, one more time. That rubber boot goes on that nipple right over at the end of this. This thing has to go back through that hole. This hose here has to go back up and go on to the carburetor. So, thought I'd show you what I'm doing, because for the most part, boy, I'm ugly. I'm ugly today. Oh, okay, you guys still there? For the most part, I can't hold that camera in there and do that at the same time. Alone, just trying to do it at the same time. So I have little, I guess you can see me, I have these little guys that will help me work it around. So I'm going to put that little rubber hose on first. Okay, it's on there. Now I got to push this rubber, all this other stuff, up to where it belongs. There you go. And this other hose there that goes to the carburetor comes right out of this. There's another little port that I'll show you as soon as I get it to where it belongs. It's let me tell you that you gotta have lots of patience, a lot of patience. Let me get it kind of close. Alright, so in question, the rubber hose for the carburetor is right here. Now I got that boot up to where it's supposed to go. Pretty close. And now I gotta go around the outside of this boot. And you work it in there. It'll come in. There we go. That's what she looks like. You see, it's it's like a rubber thing like this with a hole in it. So I got to just kind of keep pulling it up through there till that hole lines up with that. Once you get that in there, then you can put this clip on, and that lines up with that hole. So it kind of holds it where it needs to be, we'll say. You shove it in there, and it holds it in there. So then you could like go back down and double check on your rubber hose, and to see if it's still, if it fell off. All right, so I got that far, and I'll bring you back in there so you guys can see exactly what she looks like. These are all, most of these saws, these steel saws are all pretty much similar. See, if you can see down in there. This fuel line here goes down to the bottom, and then the other one is down underneath there. I think the light's just right. And if you think that it may be falling off at all, find yourself some small, super small pliers, needle nose. They make super small ones. I had a pair around here somewhere, like a duck bill. Alright, so there you go. That's that. You're like, okay, so now you got the fuel line up for the carburetor. What about the other thing? Well, that other thing, I was trying to figure out what it was for, and it came off the gas tank, so I assumed that guy down in here was a vent, and it is. Now it has some sort of funny looking check valve on it that I didn't understand. So this little guy plugs on that little guy right back here. Alright. Apologize for the swinging the phone around and everything, but to bring you guys in so you can really see, I really have to do that. Okay. And there's a slot in here right here. There's a slot right there. I thought there was part of that kill switch, but the gentleman says no, this goes on some sort of piece that makes contact with that. And I said, oh really? And he said, oh yeah. And he did show it to me, but I'm still not grasping it. You know what I mean? So it has to touch. Yeah, right now it has to be touching it. So I'm still not seeing it. Because right now it should be touching it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Brrr. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my question. This guy will go right back to that fuel pump. But I got to figure out how I'm going to get that guy. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I lost somebody. Sorry about it, guys. It's well, let me tell you that unless you're working on one of these chainsaws, this is the most boring video I've ever. But if you're working on one, guess what? This is the best one, because I haven't seen too many people show y'all very good. Alright, so I don't know where that really clips on at, because that rod comes out there for the choke. He said it just slides in there, but if I slide this in, I don't see where it touches. Because if I bring that right here, where I think he told me to put it, yeah, right there, then, oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. It's touching it. Yeah, I just didn't have it fully. I didn't fully have it to the position I needed it to. Let me bring you up. All right, here we go. See, this makes contact with that when it comes up. See it? Oh. Makes contact with it. This makes contact. So that'll shut that saw off for me when it yeah. All right. So let's get back to what we're doing. My gasket back on. Make sure the hole lines up where it needs to be. So I don't even know if this carburetor's any. If I don't have to do something with this. Like I said, when I tore this down, took this apart, tear down, whatever you want to call it. I was in the middle of, in the middle of stuff, like I'm always in. I'm always in the middle of doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. Which is the only way to do it. Because if you're waiting on parts on one thing, then you can be working on the other. And y'all in your own way can't stay focused very long. Yeah. If it gets a little boring, you're on to the next thing. See? You're on to the next thing. Yep. So anyways, that's the fuel line onto that little port on the side. Right? Here's the air cleaner in question. But I don't want to put that on yet until I get the choke in question on. Which I probably shouldn't have put that black thing in there yet, but that's a little, it's a little guide. It's a guide for the the guide so you can run your screwdrivers down them holes, and then so when you're adjusting it, you're in there. Okay. This sometimes goes in easy, most of the time not easy. There we go. So if you ever get bored of watching me live, but you still want to watch it, so a little FYI for you. Alright, so I wait a day or so, and then I put these guys up for y'all to see. Alright, so no need to stay up watching this when you could be watching something else. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so I'm putting that choke lever back in like that, in like Flynn, and alright, so we need to slide her back in. Alright, next thing here I got to put a little hose up with a vent on it. Now, believe it or not, the steel guy said to me that the hose the hose in question, so I got a chunk of hose. The hose in question has a little vent on the top. And I said, okay, I believe it does. It's got something on top. And I got that in there now and I can't get it out. Alright, so he says just stick a piece of hose on that vent, stick it over here out of the corner and put a screw in it. And I said, put a screw in it? And he said, yeah, well, yeah. Just stick a screw in it. And I said, now why would I put a screw in it? He says, well, because it's got to be a vent. So there's that hose. I'm gonna see. I got the item numbers for that. I have the item numbers for that, so I'm gonna see if I can order that, the right device, because I don't know. Because I just want to do it right, you know what I'm saying? This is an old saw, 1983, but I get it. But a good video is when you replace it all and do it the way it's supposed to be done, not some cobbled up mess, if you know what I'm gathering. Alright, so now I gotta put this guy back on. If I can figure out which way it goes. Hope you kind of liked. Hope you got something out of this. Hope somebody got something out of this. Little chainsaw. Little chainsaw stuff. Like I said, I'm trying to get some sort of 15-20 minute video of some sort of motorized, some sort of motorized product up for y'all, but sometimes they're just too boring. I lost 2 screws down on the floor. Alright, so the next one we'll be working on here just keep burling until you get it right. Will be a start video, I would assume, right? Start video. Right, there's a screw here. Alright, so we got that. They got little plugs to keep, if they vibrate, they tend to vibrate a little bit. Them little plugs are to keep your screw, loosen your screws. You got a loose screw. In case you got a loose screw. Then I gotta try to find that screw on the floor that I know dropped. There it is. I think it must be just one. Right? Anybody still with me? Must be. I put that video down. I put that camera kind of down a little bit on an angle where I thought you could all see me. And you can still. Thanks for still being with me, number 2 people. 2 peoples. Appreciate that the alright, so that's that. Then I got a handle that covers up all this stuff. One screw that holds that in. This kind of locks down in there somewhere or other. They always seem to come apart. They always seem to come apart easier than they go together. I don't know if you ever noticed that. There we go. It's a short screw. It goes way up in this hole. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna lose my bit. Nope, didn't lose the bit. So I'm out of stuff. So I got my plugs in. All my screws in. You got to check here. All right. So my spark plug's next. I have not found out the gap on it. Spark plug's next, and I got to sharpen the chain. There's a little piece like this that fits up in here, like that. Keeps all the sawdust out, like that. Then you have your air cleaner, but I haven't got my spark plug gap yet. And like I said, I need to find this is the updated number for it. It's a 7421. Camera's backwards. I got these 2 little guides that go on each side of it. I don't like putting them in until until my bar and everything goes in there. It's the 2 little guides because I tell you right now, I'll already lost them. Already lost them monkey around like I did. Yep. Then I gotta sharpen my chain. And then put some fuels in it and give her a rip. All right. Thought I'd bring you along on that. I will try to put the email I got is on the phone I'm using right now, because the phone I'm using right now only one has sound. The other phones don't have sound. I guess they don't seem to be having sound. So, and I don't know why when on online footage, why it doesn't have sound, but it doesn't. I think there's something still missing here that was never in here. There's a hole right here. No, I thought it had a wide open throttle. I thought it had a wide open throttle lock on it, but it doesn't. Okay, there you go. And then, of course, you put your cover on. You know what I'm saying? It's a good looking saw. I got, I think think I bought it a couple years for like 60 bucks. And it was bogging and bogging and bogging, and I didn't know what it was. I took the spark arrestor off because it doesn't, you know, the spark arrestor, which is, there is none on this. You have to take the whole muffler off. And there was nothing in there, and then I took the piston apart. Pulled the jug off. In case you haven't seen the videos before, I pulled the jug off, and then I found this piston here with all these dents on it. It didn't go around the side, but it did have a little scarring on right there. See the few scars? I believe that was exhaust side like normal. A few scars. And so I put a new piston. And another jug, which if you put your finger up in there, that's the intake side and that's the exhaust. I did feel some dents down the bottom. There's some dents down in there. I was going to try to take a picture of it, but you might be able to see them. Probably not though. They're all on this side right in here where that screwdriver's pointing. You might be able to see them from the spark plug holes right up there. See, there's some dents on the top of that cylinder. They could have been polished all out. You know what I'm saying? It could be polished out and hone this cylinder and still use it. It's still good, a good used part for a saw that in real rough shape that you don't want to put a whole lot of money into. If you're tracking along with me. All right, so this is a little longer actually I thought it was going to be. We're almost into an hour. I try to keep them at 20 to a half an hour, so just don't forget to give me a little thumb up, and if you want to push that button and follow along with me. Like I said, this is a kind of a late one tonight, but you know, I think it's going to be a nice saw. I'm one of these guys here. I don't know if they're really made in America anymore, but I tend to find that they're more reliable unless you really beat the nonsense out of them, and a lot of people beat saws up. Even I find myself sometimes beating them up. So hey, so just go right ahead and give me a like and subscribe and drop that phone on the floor right when I'm trying to tell you. And I appreciate you following along. Those are follow. You know, does mean a lot to me. That is an MS250. It's the same thing as the 023. And the MS is the same thing. Yeah. It's the same, as you know. Every once in a while I find somebody that likes these kind of saws too and follows along. Hey, well, I appreciate your time. Have a good evening. And I'll try to do something tomorrow night too. No guarantee on that one. Bye.